Okay, hello acupuncturist. Today I am talking with Robyn Adcock. She is an acupuncturist up in the Bay Area. She's doing amazing work in the hospitals up there, and so I wanted to chat with her today to introduce you to her work and to Robyn and all the inspiring work she is doing. So thank you, Robyn, for being with us today.
Thank you, Alyssa.
So could you start off by telling us your story of driving by the hospitals every day, and now where are you now?
Okay, yeah. So I shared on Facebook recently after my first day of starting at UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital, Oakland. So they have two children's hospitals in the Bay Area, one in Mission Bay, one in Oakland. So this was the Oakland campus. I was just starting there. It was my first day. Of course, I had to shoot a selfie because it was a momentous day for me. Not only was it amazing because I was the first acupuncturist to be put on staff in the hospital.
Amazing.
So that was huge. So even when I went to get my badge, they said, well, we don't have a value for that. And so they have to override the system and write it in because they have, 80 different titles, and acupuncturist isn't one of them. So we actually got it put into the system because not just for me, there's more people coming. So let's change that. Let's change the database. So anyway, so I took this picture and I posted it on Facebook, and I was trying to think of something meaningful to write. And what I realized in that moment is I live next to this hospital. Well, I recently moved, but I did live next to it for about five years. And I would drive by from the day I started in acupuncture school in Berkeley. I would drive by the hospital right around the corner from me, and I would look up there and I would go, I know I'm going to work there sometime. I know somehow I'm going to do acupuncture there. And I asked around through my training, hey, what's up? Is there acupuncture there? I would meet people that work there. And they said, no, we're not doing that yet. It's just not part of what we're doing. And so when I started, that first day, I realized how much I had been quietly manifesting this, well, actively, but I didn't specifically say, I'm going to, not every day was, I'm going to work there, I'm going to work there. I just knew I put that wish out and I would think it. And then the opportunity opened, of course, because that's so often how the universe likes to work.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So, and you've been working there now for how long?
Well, I just started there. So both of my hospital jobs, I just started at the beginning of the fall.
Okay.
So all of my answers are coming from a total newbie. So just incorporate that with my fresh perspective and excitement of what I'm doing. So.
Okay. And so the first thing that comes to mind is, how did you get that job there?
Okay, yeah. So the position I'm doing right now is at UCSF at both children's hospitals, which I mentioned, and it's a research position and a clinician position. So I am treating in the oncology and bone marrow transplant wards, doing only pediatric patients in what is actually the biggest pediatric oncology study to incorporate Chinese medicine ever, even including studies done in China. This study is going to be it's huge. It's going to be a 3-year, 400 person study.
Wow.
Looking at Chinese medicine to support the side effects of cancer treatment. Wow. So, it's amazing. So, because we're so good at that, right? Our medicine is so good. So we're treating for nausea, vomiting, and pain, anxiety, depression, and fatigue.
Wow.
And so anyway, that position, it happened that I started a program at UCSF about 5 years ago. No, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, it was 3 years ago, treating the staff. So I did this through my school, and we called it the Care for the Caregiver program. And this was really how I got into UCSF, was creating a new program that was about staff care. And my thought in that, because really this job that I just took goes back years now.
Yeah,
so
again, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So we created a program as an externship site for our school, and I did this while I was a student in conjunction with our clinical dean, and where we would go in and do community-style treatments for 4 hours once a week for anyone in the staff at the hospital. And I thought, this is the best way to introduce our medicine in the hospital, instead of being
brilliant.
This, like this exterior pathogen, like, we want to treat your patients. I was like, let's be a Jing tonic, right? Everyone loves a Jing tonic. So I was like, let's come in and let's give the medicine.
Yes.
Because it speaks for itself.
Yes.
When people get it, you don't have to explain it. And there's no hard sell. It's such a natural, for them to have a visceral experience of the medicine. So many people become an advocate of it.
I love
so that's
this.
how I first started treating, and this was at Mission Bay. I'm terrible with earbuds, you guys. You see me.
You're doing great. Ears. You're doing great.
Doing tiny ears. That's a myth. So for years at Mission Bay, we've been treating the staff, and we treat in a public space on the first floor. It's a beautiful meditation space with an outdoor labyrinth. It's a very sacred healing spot.
Amazing.
And every day, again, for years, I would see people beep their badges and go through the doors to go up the elevators into the hospital. Mm-hmm. And I had done a tour of the hospital, but that was not my realm. Mm-hmm. I did not have clearance to go up there. And I would think, servicing this clinic every week, I would think someday I'm going to have my badge and I'm going to beep and go upstairs.
I love this. I love this so much.
And every day I go to work, that beep makes me so happy. I feel like, oh my gosh, I've been welcomed into the hospital. I get the green light and the beep to go to any floor. And every time it opens a door, it's not lost on me. It's amazing.
So I love this. So you've been like pretty much planting the seeds for years, you know, and I love that you went into this with an attitude of give, 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 you know, not at all like, what can I get, but like, what can I give? How can I, you know, contribute to the situation? Like, I love that. That's beautiful. And look where you are now, you know, that's amazing.
That program amazingly has done, we've done over 3,500 treatments for over 1,100 different staff at UCSF.
Wow.
And more than half of the staff, because I've been taking statistics on the whole thing, it's been my mini case study, not really research because they weren't enrolled in anything, but it's been a case study. More than 60% have never once had an acupuncture needle.
Wow.
So that's, you know, over 600 people. Like over 600 people that have never before
that you exposed it to. Yep.
Yeah. So it's been amazing. Great. So now when I walk through the hospital, everywhere I go, I see people who have kind of been my patients for the last few years. And they see me and they're like, oh my gosh, you're up here. You're treating the kids. I'm so excited. What can I do to support you? And now and I need help up there. I'm like having to learn protocols. Like, how do I do the scrub in? What's with the doors?
So, you know, that actually leads into a good question. Like, I was wondering what are the most challenging things that you're coming up against in the hospital setting?
Totally. Yeah. For me, again, being the only acupuncturist, now I'm on a team of 3. So there's 3 of us, which is great. It's amazing. So we've had no hospital clinician training. And so we've worked with a few of the nurses that are in the oncology department, and they've helped us learn the basic protocol. But hospital culture is very specific, and I had so much fear going in that I would make an error, that I would trip over a wire. The kids have broviacs, and you have to be so mindful of any tubing. It's so different than patients that I saw in school. And it's not, I've had to learn while I've gone. It's not that I didn't get training, it's just there's so much to learn. So you get the basics, and then you have to learn on the job. And I just decided I'm going to be really quiet and really slow and just be open to all the information and ask questions when it's appropriate, and otherwise just give myself 3 to 6 months to just do my job quietly and observe. And that's been really helpful to slow down for me, because I go, and I've had to just say, no, this is about the patients. Just take a deep breath, create ritual. You know, I scrub in every day, like very, you know, for minutes, and you have to, you know, because BMT kids are immunocompromised. You have to be really mindful of bacteria and germs and mold. So just creating ritual to slow myself down and listen and learn and ask for help. And I just keep saying, I don't know this, and I want to do it the best that I can. And being vulnerable, because I want to go in and show everybody, hey, I'm knowledgeable. I've got a real medical degree. And at the same time, I'm like, and I know nothing here. I know my medicine, and I'm going to do that well. This is all learning for me, so please help me. And people have really responded to that, and I'm so glad.
I love it.
It's scary. It can be a little intimidating.
But you have like the perfect attitude about it. I love it. Like, I love it. So then on the flip side, what has been like so far? I know you kind of just started, but have you had any moments of just like, wow, this is amazing? Like, what's been the best part about being in the hospital setting?
Yeah. So other than the badge beep, which, you know, don't underestimate the little beep can make you happy. Very Pavlovian. Okay, so working with kids, I mean, I did a lot of pediatrics in my training, and when I was in my student clinic, I brought in a lot of peds intentionally. I am a mom of 2, so it's a natural fit for me. So although mostly after I graduated, my practice was adults. And so to go back to being with kids is amazing. the study is, these kids are amazing, and they're dealing with life-threatening diseases. Yeah. And some of them have been with these leukemias since they were born. It's all they know. Some kids were just diagnosed, and it's the family. There's so much. It's such a reward. Yeah. And some kids I'll treat every day for 30 days straight as part of the study. So I've never treated a patient that intensely before. Yeah. Every day, and that's special too, to watch how the tongue and pulse changes. Yes. So that's been amazing to see this medicine in application, to hold points and watch the blood pressure come down in real time on a monitor, or watch the heart rate change. That's amazing. And at the end of this, we'll be looking at how the meds fit into that. But even just to hold a pulse and have monitors there.
Yes. Wow.
So yeah, that's been really rewarding, working with kids, being part of their team.
Yeah. Have you had any, is there any one specific story of healing that stands out to you?
Totally. I mean, I wish I had I've had several, and they're all anecdotal, right? We'll know at the end if what we're doing is statistically significant. Yeah. We all know it's going to be, though.
Yes. Please, anecdotal evidence is real evidence,
Yeah. Yeah, and this study's a win just because the fact that it's happening is a win for us. So my feedback on that, my answer is going to be anecdotal, and that's still totally relevant. Mm-hmm. So I had one kid that I got to see. He has a neuroblastoma. He's 13 years old. He's amazing, and the chemo gives him hiccups, chronic hiccups. Now that makes sense to us because nausea, vomiting, hiccups, it's all stomach chi
rebellious chi.
So for us, it's interesting because it's all part of the same pattern. For them, it's very different. So the team was really trying to find different ways, different pharmaceuticals, things that could help ease his hiccups. And this would happen to be the first day that I got to treat him. And I said, he was a little reluctant, I don't know. And these kids have so many procedures done. So to consent to more treatment, and they don't know if it's going to be uncomfortable or, so he was a little reluctant. And I went right to P6. I was going to go to stomach 9 next. If that doesn't work, ran 12. I mean, I got some. And hiccups are a little bit of a party trick for me. So I said, well, I see you're dealing with hiccups. Maybe I can help. And he was like, okay, let's try. So I just started with P6. That's part of the protocol we're using anyways, opening the chong. Mm-hmm. So I used P6, and within under a minute, he stopped hiccuping. He had hiccups for 3 hours that afternoon.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's exhausting. And I didn't say anything because, you can't jinx it. So I didn't say anything, but I noticed right away that the hiccups had stopped. After a few minutes, I said, so how are your hiccups? And he said, they're gone. And his mom was like, they're gone. And I said, oh, and they were like, it's a miracle. I'm like, okay, all right. They may come back. I'm like, I'm really glad it worked. And I part of our study is teaching the parents to give acupressure to the kids.
I love it.
So that they can help their kid and be empowered and have a tool.
I love
because parents go through PTSD watching their children, someone they love, go through pain and not be able to help them.
Oh, so that made me all teary-eyed. I love it.
Every time I read the study protocol, I cry. I told the researcher, I said, this makes me cry. She goes, that's why I hired you for the job. Nobody cries at study protocols. Because it's so beautiful, and it's so how our medicine works.
And it's so empowering. Yeah, it's exactly how our medicine works.
So the woman who wrote this study is an acupuncturist. So she goes back to the Lincoln Detox Clinic of New York in the late 70s.
Oh, amazing.
So she's been working for 30 plus years to get this medicine into hospitals.
Wow.
And she said she felt that our program, the staff clinic, was one of the reasons that the hospital was, kind of more open to it. Not the only, but maybe it was a factor.
Absolutely.
And, UCSF is the most amazing place. I just have to say it's one of the biggest employers in San Francisco other than the city. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the top ranked companies. Okay. And the people there, the staff, it's just incredible. So everyone that I work with is amazing. So anyway, with this kid with the hiccups, that was just an example where, our medicine can do these little weird things. We can do the big stuff too. We also do these little weird, I can help that twitch, and also just how the modality fits into the hospital, we fit in seamlessly. We have little tools. We don't need much space. We clean up fast. We can fit and work around other things that are happening. So it's like this natural mesh. It's almost like this intelligent glue that's going to come in and I think help join other pieces of the hospital together.
Oh, so, I love that so much.
That's encouraging for me, is how easily that we can weave into what already is established protocol in the hospital. And we have to, because it has to be that way, because it's intense and it's very regimented in the hospital, and it needs to be. You know, what they're doing is huge stuff. So.
And so if there are acupuncturists that are interested in getting involved in work like you're doing, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have had some friends that I've worked with and interns that went through the hospital Care for the Caregiver program that AAMC Berkeley started at UCSF. And many of them have gone on through other places in the country and contacted me and said, I want to create something like that Care for the Caregiver program. Can you help me? Mm-hmm. And I'm always available for that. I will always make time for that. So I think that's valuable, is helping and supporting acupuncturists that have a vision. So I'm always, so you can give my contact information out.
Amazing.
And I also, so creating programs like that is good. Now, I don't always want us to give it away. That program worked because it was with a school. And I know that as in trying to prove ourselves, we've given a lot away through the years, and we've had to. But I really encourage people to create financially stable programs through grants. Hospitals often have great foundations and development departments that you can work with to get grants for things like that. So that's one way, is figuring out how to get involved. Another is being political. And I'm the executive director of the California State Oriental Medical Association. I've been a student board director on that for 4 years prior to being the executive director. And, this medicine is coming, right? Acupuncture is part of maybe one of the biggest solutions to the opioid epidemic that people are finally calling by name. And so there's going to be integration. And what's important is that we're on top of that we're saying we're the ones that need to be doing that needlework. We're the perfect ones that are trained for this. And we need to work with insurance companies to make sure that hospitals can get payment for those treatments that are happening, so that the hospitals can pay us real physician salaries. And we held out for that in the study, and we got that, and so we're really getting respect. So we're not, the respect is there, and it's important that we say, hey, we have graduate loans to pay off. We've trained really hard, so I think also, so I think being politically involved, because there does need to be some policy changes. And that helps support us getting insurance parity. Okay, great. I mean, and I love that, because I feel like, something that I want to spread more of the word of too is why to get involved in your state associations. We don't really know why, but right here, this is a huge reason why. Huge. And this is a huge reason to mainstream the medicine. It's huge, and it's something that we're looking at as an association right now. We want to work with the insurance companies, so it's a win-win-win. So we want to say, hey, there's going to be a big demand for this, and so how do we set this up so that we get good payouts and can make living wages? And I think we have to really prove the long-term benefit, that years later, after acupuncture studies are done, people are still experiencing reduced symptoms. So that's something they didn't even know when they started doing research. Now they're like, wow, 3 years later, 5 years later, people are still better. So the long-term payout is something we need to show that we're economical. We're a good investment. So
all right, I love this. Okay, Robyn, I want to acknowledge you for all this pioneering, amazing work that you are doing in the hospital with your open heart and helping the kids and the parents and all that. It's so amazing, and I love what you're up to. I love your energy. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing everything with us. You rock.
Thank you. I think, acupuncture is like big wave surfing, it's like the Wild West. So we have so much momentum and opportunity, so we just have to keep surfing together.
I'm with ya. Woo!
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So good to be here.